Yo, alright, so now we're at episode 3 of Goku in DC Remastered. And in this episode, Goku battles against Aquaman, right? Y'all can go watch the last two previous episodes for the full version of how we got here. You guys watch the other parts for the full picture because I'm going to do a brief recap of what happened, right? So basically, on part 1, Superman lands on Earth, and then a couple years later, Goku lands in the same farm. So the Kents end up raising both Goku and Superman as brothers. Goku eventually goes off to do his own thing, to go on his own adventure so he can get stronger, because he believes that he's getting left behind by Superman, right? While Superman works on becoming a better hero. So those are the two journeys. And we go to episode 2, where Goku gets hired by Lex Luthor to look for kryptonite, and he's given a radar that allows him to sense kryptonite, and the radar takes him to Themyscira, where he meets Wonder Woman, battles Wonder Woman, and after he battles Wonder Woman, he's taken prisoner. But because he saved Wonder Woman during their battle from falling into a ravine, Wonder Woman talks to her mother, which allows him to get released. Then takes Goku to the Coliseum. All right, and then they have a little training arc. Goku gets trained by the Amazons on how to use weapons. He prefers the staff. Wonder Woman and Goku, or Diana and Goku, become good friends. They become the best of friends, and after a while, Goku remembers he has to go get the kryptonite, and Wonder Woman decides to help him on his journey, even though Goku is forbidden to leave the island. And at the same time, Dr. Barbara Minerva and Giganta are traveling to Themyscira so that she can retrieve an ancient dagger. Right? She ends up shooting a boar. Wonder Woman investigates. She runs into Giganta, who's the paid bodyguard. They get into a scuffle. Wonder Woman gets put on the back foot, but she's saved by Goku, who uses heat vision that he learned from Clark Kent. Of course, he doesn't have solar heat vision, but he is able to use his ki to form heat vision, even though he doesn't know much about ki, so he's only able to use it in short bursts. And then they have a fight. The battle is tense. I'm skipping over things. You guys go watch the last part. And overall, Giganta ends up defeating everybody and smashes Goku into a wall. Goku sees the moon. He becomes a great ape and ends up defeating Giganta, and then goes on a rampage. Wonder Woman remembers that Goku's weakness was his tail, rallies the Amazons to cut off his tail, and he reverts back to his normal form. And that's where they see Goku there, and Giganta's captured, and Barbara Minerva has captured the dagger that she was looking for. Which brings us to the next part of episode 3 of Goku and DC Remastered, where Goku faces off against Aquaman. Alright? So let's get to it. Diana looks at her mother, whose expression remains stern. Hippolyta tells the princess that whenever Goku wakes out of his coma, she should bring him to the throne room so they can discuss his fate. Hippolyta then tells Diana that she's surprised to see her because she's rarely left that boy's room since he's been unconscious. And Diana blushes at the comment and looks at the ground as she exits the throne room. Wonder Woman finally arrives back to Goku's room and sees her friend awake and smiling at the surprised Amazon, unbothered by his near-death experience. Goku wonders what happened to his clothes, apparently unaware of his great ape transformation, and Wonder Woman covers her face quickly as the Saiyan rose out of bed, unashamed by his display, and Diana throws him some clothes she had made for him while he was unconscious. And once the young warrior is dressed, she informs Goku that her mother, the Queen of Themyscira, would like to speak with him directly. So they head on towards that direction. Hippolyta eyes the foreigner with curiosity, and Goku looks around and is impressed with the intricacies of the throne room until Diana tells him to show some respect and hits him in the back of the head. Remembering how the Kents raised him on manners, he bows before Hippolyta and apologizes and greets Hippolyta. And Hippolyta lets Goku know that he is now free to leave their island because he helped the Amazons against an intruder and saved the lives of their fellow sisters. And Goku bows to her and shows his thanks, even though he wasn't even aware that he wasn't allowed to leave, because Diana never really told him that part. But he thanked her and went on his way. Wonder Woman walks with her now best friend to the edge of the island, and Goku is talkative as ever, but Diana is quiet and sad to see him leave. But Goku ensures his new friend that they will meet again, and even if he isn't allowed to come back to the island, they'll figure out another way that they can still interact and talk to each other. Diana believes her friend, but she is still sad to see him go as he flies up into the sky wearing the jetpack given to him by his employer, Lex Luthor. And while that send-off was happening, Hippolyta was interrogating Giganta for answers on why she was there, and the lasso of truth made her reveal that she was hired by someone named Dr. Barbara Minerva to steal an ancient dagger from their island. Diana arrives after this confession, and her mother informs the princess that the Pantheon might let her see the boy again sooner than later, because she must go to man's world to take back that which was stolen from the Amazons, which was the dagger. Diana gears up in some new armor and prepares to venture into the world of man, secretly hoping her travels will lead her back to her best friend on her way during the travels while she's there. And she equips her sword and shield and heads off. Goku arrives back to the city and is greeted by Mercy Graves, who tells him that it took him long enough and that Lex was waiting for his return, and Goku simply shrugs and tells her that it's a long story on why he's been gone so long. Lex gazes out a window when Goku announces his return, happy to see Lex again. Lex turns around and tells Goku he was starting to worry a little bit, and Goku tells him that he didn't come back empty-handed. As the room glows green when the kryptonite is handed to the young, bald millionaire who is fascinated by the item he just received. Lex tells Mercy to reward Goku his payment, and the young Saiyan is surprised to see the copious amount of cash he was being given, not expecting this big of a payment reward. Lex then thanks Goku again and assures him that there is more where that came from, and Goku tells Lex that he is off to go travel to the next place that holds the kryptonite, the next destination, with his radar. He blasts off at full speed, eyeing his kryptonite radar, looking for the next location. Until he stops and realizes that his next rock must be hidden underwater as he gazes into the abyss of the ocean. He swims through the deep in search of his object, but comes up short. So he dives deeper into the deep, hoping to find what he's looking for. He comes up for air and decides to go back to Lex to tell him the situation in hopes that he can give him some help in proceeding, because he can't go any further down into the ocean. Lex builds a special diving suit for Goku and informs him that this should do the trick, and wishes him luck once more on his travels. Afterwards, Lex heads down to a medical facility and tells John Corbin that they can now start the medical procedure for him. As Corbin holds his chest, Lex hands his kryptonite to the surgeons with a Cheshire grin on his face as he's ready for the operation to begin. Goku flies back to his location, ready to take another dive in the deep, better equipped. And Lex's suit is successful in helping him navigate further down the depths of the sea as he keeps his eye out for the Emerald Prize. But unbeknownst to him, Goku was being watched by the King of Atlantis, who had just recently been attacked by an unknown diver in all black, and he thinks that this new ocean intruder is probably one of his allies. Goku turns around just in time to see the sheen of something sharp and golden aiming for his air tank, and he avoids the strike barely and rushes to the surface. He lands on some eroded rocks and removes his mask, and Aquaman follows suit, landing on the other side of his target, on some rocks on the other side of the diver. Goku is surprised by his attacker's appearance and asks him if he lives in the water like a fish, but Aquaman isn't kind enough to respond to the stranger in his territory. After his last assignment, he is prepared for anything to happen. Looking looking at the boy who is now getting out of his diver suit, Aquaman could see that this boy was a young teen. And if he was the enemy, he must be the young protege of that diver in all black that attacked him earlier that week, and Goku is confused but ready to throw down nonetheless. And as the storm reached them, the pair rushed each other simultaneously, ready for battle. But the duo never meet, as Goku is pulled back into the waters beneath by a tentacle, and it is revealed that Aquaman had summoned a squid to assist him in this battle from the very beginning. Goku struggles in the water as the squid constricts tighter on the teen, and Aquaman plans to wait till this boy passes out so he can interrogate him on the surface when he resuscitates him, as he watches the wrestling match go down from beneath. But as the tentacle gets tighter, Goku's eyes glow brighter, and he fires an eye blast at the coiling tendril, once again imitating his brother Clark's heat vision. With the beam of his own, and the attack forces the squid to back off and flee, and Aquaman can see that this boy isn't an ordinary human, if he is a human at all. Goku lands back on the rocks, soaked and serious as he looks at his opponent, and Aquaman decides to bury his trident into the rocks to make the fight more fair, and plus he didn't want to slay a kid anyways without knowing the true motives at the very least, and he'd rather not slay a kid at all. The lighting dances above as the party of two charge each other again, ready to engage in a melee above water. And the waters rage below as they exchange blows with one another in the middle of a storm. The shockwaves actually made a large fish beach itself on the surface, and Goku notices this as well. He disengages for a timeout from the brawl to launch the fish back into the sea, and Aquaman is surprised by the display, thinking maybe he misjudged this young intruder, and maybe he doesn't have an affiliation with the man in the black diver suit. Goku takes another battle stance as his shirt sits on the rocks, and Aquaman was still assessing what he had just witnessed as the rain continues to come down on the two of them. Then suddenly Goku charges the Sea King once more, and Aquaman can already see his opening this time. And he dodges at the last minute to land a direct power jab to Goku's chin to bring him back down on the rocks, only for Goku to look up and see a trident pointed at his face, and Aquaman tells the teenage boy to yield, and the Saiyan stays where he is and stops resisting, and compliments Aquaman on his strength as a warrior. And to his surprise, Aquaman disarms himself and compliments him as well, and says that he had a lot of potential for his age, and then he begins to properly introduce himself to Goku. Aquaman can see this kid had a pure heart and helps him on his feet before asking Goku why he was searching within the depths in the first place. And Goku remains honest and tells Aquaman that he is searching for a kryptonite rock for his friend / employer Lex, who hired him to retrieve the rock for research. Aquaman crosses arms and realizes that the rock he seeks is in Atlantis. It was found by the scouts, and decides to help out the boy he is beginning to befriend. Aquaman then dives back into the waters and asks Goku to follow behind him to Atlantis, and Goku is excited to see what awaits down below. Meanwhile, John Corbin awakens from his operation feeling stronger than ever, unaware of how much his body has changed since he's been under, and Lex reminds him that now it was time for him to pay him back for saving his life. Corbin smiles and tells Lex that he remembers that he wanted him to take on Superman once he fixed him up as payment, and is happy to do so. We then jump back to Goku, who has now met Aquaman and his lover, whose lover was happy to see his return, worried about him since he was attacked last time by the diver in black. Goku is amazed by the civilizations within the ocean as he is taken on tour by Aquaman and Mira. But not everyone was happy to see a surface dweller amongst them, and one of the detractors was Aquaman's half-brother, known as the Ocean Master, who didn't like what he saw and viewed Goku as a potential spy from the surface. Just then, Superman was investigating a ruckus in the city by a man making smoke beneath him. He flies down only to feel himself getting weaker as he approaches and gets closer to the rabble-rouser, unsure of how and why this was happening to him. And Metallo takes full advantage of this weakness by interlocking his hands with Superman and pushing him backwards into a building, cockily. After the tussle, Superman tackles Metallo out of a window towards a pier in Metropolis. But eventually Metallo stops the pushback and punches Superman in the gut with the mean right swing, knocking the air out of the Kryptonian, who is still weakening during their battle. But on his way down, his hand opens the chest of his opponent, and Metallo reveals that his new heart is made of solid kryptonite, believing that only Lex had changed and swapped his heart out during the operation. He believes that this green rock is his source of new strength, unaware of what had actually happened. But before Metallo could finish the job, Superman fires his heat vision right into his face, which burns off his synthetic skin, to Corbin's horror, believing he had just been disfigured. And it was at this moment that Metallo was in shock, as he realized he was now more than just a new heart. He was almost fully machine, and he realized that Lex had done more to him than give him a new heart, and he became furious and enraged. And while he was enraged, Superman delivered a powerful haymaker to the distracted cyborg, sending him way off into the ocean. Knocking Metallo into the ocean, he began to sink, unable to swim, and Superman watches him plunge into the depths, unable to pull him out because he would be weakened by the kryptonite in close proximity. Metallo is pulled underwater as he looks at the hovering Superman, unable to stay afloat. Right? Then we cut back to Goku, who eventually is given, is handed over by Aquaman the kryptonite after his tour was complete, and Goku has once again accomplished his mission, his objective. And he thanks Aquaman and hopes he'll see him again someday. And the couple watch the Teen Saiyans swim back to the surface with his new item, and they begin to talk about him, intrigued by the strange boy they had just met. Goku arrives back to Lex's building and hands him some more kryptonite, and Lex tells him that he's getting better at this and tells Mercy Graves to give Goku more money. He also tells Mercy to help Goku open up a bank account in the city, and the two exit his room as he eyes his new prize. Meanwhile, Ocean Master, however, had decided to take matters into his own hands, and he had stolen an ancient container from the vault of Atlantis. He was about to release an old terror upon the surface dwellers. He was freeing the captured King Piccolo, who was sealed away long ago, to once again terrorize the surface and keep them away from Atlantis. Alright, and that's where we're going to end this video. I hope you guys liked it. On to the next one. I'm out. Peace. Let me know what you guys like. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Gone. Peace.